Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today by asking you to visualize something. It's likely sitting on your desk right now, or maybe it's a tab open on your browser that is currently staring at you with a very accusatory look. I am talking, of course, about the to-do list.
The list. The never-ending, ever-expanding scroll of doom.
Exactly. And, we're not here today to talk about how to color code it. We aren't here to debate the merits of bullet journaling versus some new digital app. We are going way, way deeper than that.
Yeah, we're getting into the psychology of it.
We are tackling the psychology of the list. We're diving into a piece of source material titled The Baggage Drop. And let me tell you, this script, it pulls absolutely no punches.
It really doesn't. It frames the conversation in a way that's, it's almost uncomfortable at first. Because it forces you to look at your work habits not as a logistical problem, but as a mindset problem.
Right. And it starts with this incredible, really visceral metaphor. The author argues that we need to stop looking at that piece of paper on our desks as just stationary. It's not an inanimate object. The source describes the modern to-do list as a living, breathing creature.
It's a monster.
Yeah.
That's the core image here. And I think anyone who has tried to clear their inbox on a Monday morning knows exactly why that metaphor holds up.
Yeah.
If it were just a list, it would follow the laws of physics.
Yeah.
You take something away and it gets smaller. But the to-do list, it defies physics.
It's the Hydra.
A hydra, yes.
For those who maybe skipped Greek mythology 101, the Hydra was this terrifying serpent monster that Hercules had to fight. And the gimmick was, if you cut off one head, two more would instantly grow back in its place.
Which is, it's the most accurate description of modern knowledge work I have ever heard.
Isn't it?
Think about it. You reply to one urgent email.
Yeah.
You cut off that head. But that one reply triggers 3 other people to respond to you, asking for files or meetings or, clarifications. Suddenly, that one done task has spawned 3 new to-do items.
It's terrifying. And the source material really digs into the emotional toll of that. It talks about the specific physiological panic that sets in. You wake up, maybe you haven't even had your coffee yet, and the very first thought that slams into your brain is, what do I need to achieve today?
It sets the tone for the entire day as one of defense. You aren't playing offense. You're not waking up thinking, what amazing creative value am I going to bring to the world today?
Yeah.
You're waking up thinking, how do I survive the monster on my desk? How do I keep it from eating me alive?
That is such a heavy way to live. And I think we've all just sort of normalized it. We just assume that's what being an adult or being a professional feels like. But the baggage drop suggests this is actually the result of a massive societal lie.
The lie of productivity. And it's a lie with a capital L.
Let's unpack that. Because we are conditioned, heavily conditioned from school onward to believe that success is about volume.
Success equals conquest. That's the narrative, right? If the to-do list is a battlefield, then the successful person is the warrior who slays the most enemies. We are taught that if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you feel like you're drowning, the answer is always the same. Swim harder.
Grind. That's the word we see everywhere on all the motivational quotes. The grind never stops.
Exactly. If the Hydra has 12 heads, the culture tells you that you just need to swing your sword faster. You need to wake up at 4 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. You need to multitask. You need a better app that shaves, 3 seconds off your workflow? The assumption is always that the problem is you. You aren't efficient enough. You aren't disciplined enough.
It becomes this shame cycle. But the source material for this deep dive grabs us by the shoulders and essentially screams, stop! It says that entire belief system is false. The answer isn't to work harder. The answer isn't to get faster at chopping off heads.
No. The answer is to realize you are playing the wrong game entirely. The mission of this deep dive and the core thesis of the baggage drop is not to help you build a better to-do list. We aren't here to optimize your workflow. We are here to build a not-to-do list.
A not-to-do list. I love the sound of that. It feels rebellious. It feels like, playing hooky from work.
It is rebellious. In a culture of more, choosing less is a radical act.
Yeah.
But the source frames this not as laziness, but as sustainable business strategy. It's about sanity. It's about mental clarity.
And I think it's important to note where this advice is coming from because, sometimes you hear productivity advice from people who, frankly, don't seem to have very complicated lives. But the author of this source material is a business owner and a mother of 4 children.
It is the ultimate stress test. If a productivity theory can survive contact with a business and 4 kids, it has legs. It's been battle tested.
Exactly. If she says that success doesn't equal doing more, I'm listening. She proposes a whole new equation. Success equals doing less.
It sounds so simple on the surface. Just do less. But think about how psychologically difficult that is to actually internalize. We are wired for addition. There is actually research on this. Human beings are adders by nature. When we encounter a problem, our default setting is to add a solution.
I'm disorganized, so I'll add a new planning system. I'm tired, so I'll add a new morning routine.
Precisely. Shifting that mindset to subtraction, to asking, what can I remove? It feels wrong. It feels unnatural. It triggers loss aversion. We feel like if we take things off our plate, we're losing an opportunity, or losing status, or losing control.
It feels like failure, like we just couldn't hack it.
But the baggage drop reframes it. It's not about losing capacity, it's about dropping weight. It's the difference between hiking with a 50-pound pack filled with rocks and hiking with a 10-pound pack filled with just what you need. You aren't a worse hiker for dropping the rocks, you're a smarter one.
The source calls this aggressive spring cleaning for your brain. I love that imagery. We all know that feeling, that satisfaction of cleaning out a garage, right? You look at that pile of broken toys and old cardboard boxes, you throw it in the dumpster, and suddenly you can breathe again.
But we rarely do that with our obligations. We look at our calendar and we see a solid block of tasks and we treat them all as sacred. We treat them all as work. But the reality, and what we're going to expose today, is that a huge percentage of that list is just clutter. It's the broken toys and cardboard boxes just masquerading as important business tasks.
It's hoarding. We are task hoarders.
We are. And just like you can't organize a hoarder's house by just buying more storage bins, you can't organize your workday without throwing things away. You need filter.
And luckily, the source gives us a specific framework, a set of filters to run every single item on our list through. They call it the 3Ds.
The 3Ds. Delete, delegate, and defer.
Okay, let's roll up our sleeves. I want everyone listening to mentally or literally, if you can, pull up that monster list. We are going to dissect it, and we're starting with the first D, which I think is the most painful one for people to accept. D number 1 is delete.
This is the scorched earth category. This is for tasks that drain your energy and bring zero ROI return on investment.
Now, ROI is a term that gets thrown around a lot in business, usually referring to, cold, hard cash. But the source seems to have a broader definition here.
Absolutely. If we only looked at financial ROI, we'd never do anything that makes life worth living. We'd never take a walk. We'd never read a novel. The source defines ROI here as either financial or energetic. Does this task make money? If yes, keep it. You'll know, does it bring you joy? Does it create momentum? Does it light you up?
And if the answer is no to the money and no to the joy,
then it is a parasite. It is feeding off your limited time and giving absolutely nothing back. The instruction from the source is clear. It must go.
The source lists some examples of these parasitic tasks, and I have to say, I felt personally attacked by a few of them. Let's talk about the shoulds. Specifically, networking events that you hate and that bring in no leads.
Oh, the dreaded mixer.
Yeah.
I think this is a rite of passage that we just never grow out of. You find yourself in a hotel ballroom, eating stale cheese, drinking warm white wine, making awkward small talk with people you know.
Yeah.
You know in your gut you will never do business with.
But you're there. You're wearing the name tag. You're doing the thing.
Because you feel like you should be there. It's the fear of missing out. FOMO is a massive driver of the delete pile. We think, well, what if the perfect client is at this specific mixer? But looking at the data of your own life, how often has that actually happened?
Rarely. I mean, for me, maybe never.
So that represents a negative ROI. You spent 3 hours, you drained your social battery, which is a finite resource, and you got nothing. That task needs to be deleted.
Okay, here's another one that hit me hard. Perfectionist tweaking of graphics that nobody actually cares about.
The pixel paradox.
Is that what we're calling it? I like it.
It's what I call it. It's that trance you fall into, where you spend 45 minutes deciding between 2 shades of blue for a slide deck, or trying to find the perfect font. You feel like you're working. If someone walked in, you'd look very busy. But are you moving the needle?
No, not at all. The customer doesn't care about the shade of blue. They care about the value you're providing.
Exactly. We do this because it feels safe. It's easier to tweak a font than it is to make a cold call or launch a product. We hide in the details. That isn't work. It's procrastination in a tuxedo. It needs to be deleted.
And the third example from the source is, and this one is tough, the guilt volunteer.
This is huge for the helpers out there, the people pleasers. If you are on a committee or baking for a bake sale or organizing the neighborhood watch, and you are doing it purely out of obligation, if you drive to that meeting with a pit of resentment in your stomach, That is toxic baggage.
But this is where the pushback comes in. Because if I delete that meeting or I say no to the bake sale, I feel like a bad person. I feel like a quitter.
And that is the word we need to exercise from our vocabulary. Quitting. The source offers a much better metaphor to replace it. We aren't quitting. We are pruning.
Pruning. I like that. It sounds agricultural. It sounds necessary.
It is necessary. Think about a rose bush or a fruit tree. If a gardener lets every single bud and sucker branch grow wild, what happens to the tree?
It gets overgrown. It looks messy all over the place.
It's worse than messy. It gets weak. The root system can only pump up so much water and so many nutrients. If that energy is being divided among 500 branches, none of them get enough. The fruit comes out small and bitter. The flowers are tiny. The plant becomes susceptible to disease.
So the gardener has to cut off branches, sometimes big, healthy-looking branches, not because they hate the tree, but because they want to save it.
Exactly. You prune the dead weight and the distraction growth so that the energy is directed only to the parts that matter. You are channeling the life force of the tree into the highest value fruit.
Wow. That is such a powerful shift. When I delete a task, I'm not being lazy. I'm ensuring that the tasks I do keep actually get my full energy.
You are protecting your yield. The source uses the word ruthless here. And I think that's right. You have to be ruthless with the pruning shears because the shoulds and the guilt trips will creep back in like weeds if you aren't.
Okay, so we've taken the shears to the list. We've cut out the stale cheese networking and the font tweaking. The floor is covered in leaves. Now we are left with the tasks that actually do need to happen. They are necessary for the business or the household to function. But, and here's the twist, that doesn't mean you have to do them. This brings us to D number 2, delegate.
Yes. This is the bucket that makes control freaks hyperventilate.
I'm already sweating because the narrative in my head is if I don't do it, it won't be done right. Or my favorite, it will take me longer to explain it than to just do it myself.
The classic defenses of the non-delegator.
But the definition here is key. These are necessary tasks, but they are not your tasks. They do not require your specific zone of genius. But let's address the elephant in the room. The source brings this up immediately because it's the number one objection. I can't afford it. I'm a solopreneur. I can't hire a staff. I can't afford a housekeeper.
I can't afford it trap. It stops people dead in their tracks. They just shut down. But the source counters this with a really fascinating argument. The author says, it doesn't matter if you can afford to hire someone today. You still need to identify the tasks.
Wait, explain that logic. If I have to do the task anyway because I'm broke, why would I torture myself by putting it on a delegate list?
Because clarity precedes action. If you don't mentally separate the work from my work, you will never build the structure to eventually delegate. You will just be the person who does everything forever.
So it's about labeling. It's an active categorization.
It's about identity. This is one of the most profound points in the source. Let's say you are a business owner, but you're spending 2 hours a day scheduling emails and doing data entry. If you just see that as my work, you are reinforcing your identity as the admin. You are the admin of your life.
And you want to be the CEO, the visionary.
You want to be the visionary, the strategist, the captain.
But the captain sometimes has to scrub the deck, right?
The captain can scrub the deck, of course. But while the captain is scrubbing the deck, he knows deep down, this is not my job. I am covering this task until I can get a deckhand. That is a completely different mindset than thinking I am the scrubber of decks. That's my identity.
I see. So the source suggests literally writing these down on a separate list, a to-be-delegated list.
Yes, even if you are the one doing them for the next 6 months, you list things like scheduling, invoicing, data entry, inbox triage. You acknowledge them as low-value tasks relative to your unique skill set.
It creates a separation. It stops you from absorbing the drudgery into your soul, into your identity.
And it primes your brain to look for solutions. If you know invoicing is on your hit list, the moment you have a spare $50 a month, you know exactly where to spend it. You don't have to think about it. You've already identified the bottleneck.
Simply identifying these tasks is the first step to freedom. I love that phrase from the source. It turns the task into a temporary placeholder rather than a life sentence.
It gives you an exit strategy for the things that aren't you.
Okay, so we've deleted the junk. We've flagged the delegation IOs for the future. Now we come to the third D. And the source claims this is actually the hardest one for entrepreneurs, for creatives, for anyone with an active imagination. D number 3. Defer.
Ah, yes. The defer bucket. This is the danger zone.
Why is this one dangerous? Delete felt dangerous because of guilt. Why is defer so hard?
Because delete is about getting rid of things we hate. Defer is about putting away things we love.
The source calls this shiny object syndrome.
It's the curse of the creative mind.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in the middle of a project. Maybe you're finally implementing this not-to-do list, and suddenly, ping, a light bulb goes off. I should start a podcast. I should write a book. I should launch a second product line. I should renovate the kitchen.
And it feels amazing. That idea feels like pure inspiration. And we are taught to follow our inspiration, to seize the moment.
It feels like dopamine. That's what it is chemically. New ideas are intoxicating because they're perfect. A new idea has no problems yet. It has no bugs, no difficult customers, no hard labor. It is pure potential. So your brain wants to run toward that shiny new thing and run away from the boring hard work you are currently doing.
So it's a trap, a very shiny, appealing trap.
It's distraction masquerading as ambition. The source gives specific examples: the new YouTube channel, the new product. These are valid ideas. They might even be million-dollar ideas. But they are suffering from bad timing.
There's a phrase the source uses that really stuck with me. When you try to do everything at once, you do nothing well.
That is the consequence. If you chase every shiny object, you end up with 10 half-built bridges. You have all this activity, all this construction, but you can't cross the river because you never finished the first bridge before starting the second one.
So how do we handle this without feeling like we're killing our dreams? Because I think that's the fear. If I don't act on this idea right now, the magic will fade. I'll lose it.
The source clarifies the distinction between never and not now. Deferring isn't rejection. We aren't taking the idea out back and shooting it. We are putting it in cryostasis. We are keeping it safe for the right moment.
And the tool the source suggests for this is the parking lot.
The parking lot strategy. It is incredibly practical and effective. You need a designated place, a physical notebook, a specific folder in your notes app, a whiteboard, and you call it the parking lot.
And when that shiny new idea hits,
You catch it. You acknowledge it. Wow, that is a great idea for a podcast. And then you write it down in the parking lot. You treat it with respect. You say, I see you. You are fantastic. But you are a Q3 project. You are not a today project.
what does that do for the brain psychologically?
It closes the loop. This is based on something called the Zeigarnik effect. The brain remembers unfinished tasks. If you just try to ignore the idea, your brain will keep nagging you about it. Don't forget the podcast. Don't forget the podcast. But if you write it down in a trusted place, your brain relaxes. It knows the idea is safe. It stops the nagging.
It quiets the noise. It lets you focus.
It liberates your focus. You can go back to building your one bridge, knowing that the blueprints for the other bridges are filed away safely.
So let's just recap here. We have the 3 Ds. We delete the negative ROI stuff, the guilt and the waste. We delegate the necessary but not mine stuff, even if just mentally for now. And we defer the shiny objects to the parking lot.
And what you are left with after that aggressive filtering is your actual work, the high-impact stuff.
It seems like if we do this right, the list is going to be, well, short.
Shockingly short, uncomfortably short for some people.
And that leads us to the synthesis of this whole deep dive. We have to redefine what it means to be busy, because the source has this heavy-hitting line that I highlighted in neon yellow. Being busy is not a badge of honor. It's a sign of a lack of focus.
Ouch. That one stings, doesn't it?
It feels like a personal attack. In our culture, busy is the default answer. How are you? Oh, I'm so busy, crazy busy.
We wear it like a medal. We use busy to validate our existence. If I am busy, I must be important. If I am busy, I must be needed. If I am not busy, do I even exist? Am I lazy?
But the source is arguing that chronic busyness isn't a sign of success, it's a sign of failure.
It's a failure of management. It's a failure to prune. It means you are letting the weeds take over the garden. If you are drowning in tasks, it's not because you are a hero. It's because you are feeding the monster. You are feeding the hydra instead of starving it.
Feeding the monster. That brings us right back to that intro image. If we stop feeding the monster, if we actually apply this baggage drop, what is the outcome? What does life look like on the other side?
The source makes a really interesting distinction here between the physical result and the mental result. Physically, on paper, your day might not look that drastically different immediately. You still have to answer emails. You still have to do the work.
But the mind.
The mind is lighter. That's the payoff. The cognitive load, the sheer weight of, I should be doing this and I need to do that, and what about this idea? That's what's gone. You aren't drowning in clutter. The source describes it as a shift in movement. You stop drowning and start swimming.
I love that swimming analogy because treading water is exhausting.
Treading water is the definition of busy. You are moving your arms and legs furiously. You are burning huge amounts of calories. Your heart rate is up. But you aren't going anywhere. You are just fighting to stay in the same spot.
And the not-to-do list allows you to stop kicking wildly and start doing a targeted, efficient swim stroke.
Exactly. You pick a direction, the shore, the goal, and you swim. Smooth, calculated strokes. It's actually less motion than treading water, but it creates more progress. That is the definition of efficiency.
It's liberated focus. I think that feeling of liberation is what we are all chasing. We think we'll find it at the bottom of the to-do list. We think, once I cross everything off, then I'll feel peaceful.
But the list never ends. That is the hard truth of the Hydra. You will never kill it by chopping off heads. It will always grow back. So you will never find peace at the end of the list because there is no end.
The baggage drop teaches us that we find peace not by finishing the list, but by ripping the bottom half of it off and throwing it away.
By realizing we don't have to carry it all. We find peace in the management of the boundaries, not the completion of the tasks.
So I want to pivot to the listener right now. Maybe you're commuting, maybe you're at the gym, or maybe you're sitting at your desk right now staring at the monster. You're feeling that panic we talked about at the start. Where do you start?
Don't overcomplicate it. Do not go buy a new planner. Do not download a new app. That is adding. We are subtracting.
Right. No new tools, just the filter.
Grab a pen, a red one, if you have it. There's something satisfying about red ink. Look at your list for today, or this week, and be ruthless.
Run the filter.
Run the filter. Look at that networking event. Is it going to bring you joy or money? No. Delete it. Cross it out with that red pen. Look at that admin task. Can you label it for future delegation? Do it. Put it on the not my job list. And that brilliant new idea you had in the shower this morning.
Put it in the parking lot.
Put it in the parking lot. Drop the baggage.
It's scary. It feels like breaking the rules, but it sounds like the only way to reclaim the day.
It's the only way to stop just surviving and start actually building.
I want to leave everyone with a final thought to mull over as you look at that piece of paper. We started with the image of the Hydra, the monster that grows 2 heads for every one you cut off.
A terrifying image.
It is. But it raises a really important question. If your to-do list is a living creature that grows when you fight it, are you the hero trying to slay it? Or are you the one feeding it?
That is the question.
Maybe the only way to win the battle is to stop fighting the monster and simply walk away from it.
Drop the sword. Drop the baggage.
Thank you all for diving in with us today. Good luck with the pruning. We'll see you next time.